What's going on, guys? It's your boy John, the Liquidator, coming back with breaking news, hot off the press. So it looked like Lexi Hall and Stephanie White just dropped a bombshell about the Indiana Fever practice today. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. It's no secret that the Indiana Fever went to Washington, a.k.a. Baltimore, and laid a goose egg, bro. I mean, they got the beast put on them, bro. There was no point guard in sight. Stephanie White play calling ability was questionable. And I'm telling you right now, the defense for the Indiana Fever looked it horrendous, dog. It was an overall disaster. Now, Stephanie White went to practice today. Let it be known that they will not be looking at playback from yesterday's game, which I find that to be kind of eerie, bro. The way they played yesterday, they might want to look at this one, bro. Now, I know they didn't lost before, but hell, the way they played yesterday, you need to look at that one, bro, because you don't want to make the same mistakes twice. Now, if something happened, knock on wood, the Indiana Fever lose like that again, could it be Stephanie White's fault at that point for not looking at the film to address the situations that went wrong in that set game? Now, we know Caitlin Clark is currently out for a week and a half with Stephanie White, and Lexi Hall has got an update about Caitlin in the press conference they did today, but I just find it to be real eerie that they did not look at playback from that game, bro. That was a horrible game, and you definitely want to fix the kinks that you have in your basketball team, bro. That is horrendous. Let's check out this podcast. I mean, let's check out this press conference, because this was bad, guys. I ain't gonna hold you. This was really, really bad.
You mentioned you guys didn't watch practice from last night's game. You want to turn the page. Just what was the message to people?
Yeah, I mean, we'll watch that individually and in small groups. We wanted to take the time today. On these short turnarounds, it's hard to do both.
Individually in small groups. You can't point people out for a loss like that. You got to take that loss as a team. The team lost that game. You can't sit up here and say, we're going to go over this individually. We have to go over this as a team, because the team lost the damn game. See, Stephanie White got me lost, man.
Without making it incredibly long days, especially when you get back really late. So we'll watch them in small groups. We'll watch them, individual film. We gotta grow. We gotta be better. We've got to make sure that we're not making the same mistakes. Sometimes that's defensive coverages. Sometimes that's lapses and being great screeners. Sometimes that's giving shooters passes. It's all about the little things, right? And being detailed oriented, and being able to carry over from one game to the next. So we started working on Connecticut today and getting ready for tomorrow.
Steph, is this less about the mentality? Okay, we can't do X, Y, and Z maybe with Caitlin, but what can we do with her? Is that what could the brain you got to switch over in that direction?
Yeah, it is, and how you play. I mean, Caitlin's a player who has the ball in her hands a lot.
See, now, Stephanie, we can't do this, man. You cannot say we lost the game because Caitlin hurt, because it seemed like that's what she hitting towards. I can't even lie, bro. Well, if we had Caitlin, we would have won. No, we're not going to play this game, Stephanie. You need to take this L on the chin. Ain't no skip past this. Get ready for Connecticut. Like, come on.
Plays a lot in two-man. That's, she's found success with AB in the two-man game. She's found success in finding Kelsey in the two-man game. I think sort of re-engineering and looking at some of our more off-ball movement, and that's timing, that's spacing, that's a different kind of execution. It's something that we want to get to anyway, so that we have a healthy balance.
No. You don't want to look at off-ball movement, because off-ball movement is part of the reason why Caitlin Clark is hurt, because you playing this off-ball style of game. Oh, my God. Guys, this is bad.
So it's obviously you're putting a lot of pieces together, having Didi early in and out of the lineup, Sophie in and out of the lineup, and now Caitlin out of the lineup, trying to put those pieces together and mesh it. It's taken a little bit more time, but I can tell you I'd rather have the adversity now in May than as we go through the season, and I believe that this is going to make us stronger.
It's been the most frustrating thing of kind of the last week, when things aren't clicking, people are on different pages, and the execution hasn't been there to your liking?
I think our defensive execution, that's something that's got to travel. Offensively, it's going to be a work in progress. We know that. We've got to be able to to stay in our defensive coverage in our on-ball screen. We got to be able to know it. We got to be able to communicate it. We got to be able to execute it. We've got to force people to beat us with
something I want to say that I did notice in yesterday's games is whenever they ran the on-ball screens, referees was calling fouls and moving screens calls on a lot of those screens. So that kind of didn't help either, that the referees was playing those games, because that's what they do. That's what they've been doing to the Fever, playing these little bogus call games. I just want to throw that out there.
With second and third actions, not in their first action. And oftentimes when we're getting beat in that first action, then it's opening them up for offensive rebounds. And that's when we tend to put people at the line, because we're automatically in rotation to start. And then we're playing from behind.
A lot of them have talked about the physicality. Is that like lead by example, or is that something everyone just needs to start out with from the beginning of the game?
I think everybody needs to start out with it, by the beginning of the game. We cannot allow teams to just move the ball where they want to. We've got to be up in passing lanes. We've got to have a little bit more physicality, just in terms of us not letting them go where they want to go. They got to feel us, and that looks different. It looks different from the perimeter than it does in the post. But you have to make them feel us, that they can't just move freely, cut freely, pass freely. A lot of offense in the WNBA is about rhythm. It's about timing. It's about spacing, and physicality just disrupts rhythm, timing, and spacing. And, we've seen it on our end and how it disrupts us a little bit. And we need to be a little bit more imposing our will a little bit more on the defensive end.
Just find teams are just better at that. Offenses are just better. I know that doesn't answer the question and all, but we just see so much more from so many teams now that we did.
No question. I mean, and good offense always beats good defense. It's something that you have to make adjustments, and you have to have counters, and you have to read, and you have to keep playing through multiple actions. So what you have to do as a defensive team is you have to force them into what you're willing to live with, right? And not what they want to do, not their strength, but you have to force them into what are you willing to live with? How are we willing to have them, make a shot, or what are we willing to accept from a defensive standpoint? And we haven't, we've done it at times, but consistently we are not to where we need to be.
That's the trickiest part, because you've had some 12, 13, 14-point floors.
Yeah.
And there's the 30s and the 35s that are getting action.
It is, and it's a mentality. And again, from us, from a coaching perspective, that's our job, has to be able to find those right defensive combinations. Who can we have on the floor that plays well together offensively? Who can we have on the floor that plays well together defensively? And sometimes we might have to give up one for the other.
All right, go ahead.
What is the overwhelming takeaway from the film session?
We have a lot of areas to grow. We didn't watch film from yesterday, so we're just turning the page, a quick turnaround, play tomorrow. So just focusing on getting back to what we're good at and playing our brand of basketball and finding flow on offense and defense. And we're excited to turn the page.
Does it feel like a lot of back to the fundamentals, like a lot of talk about Mark Flay and being in the right spot and knowing your personnel?
Yeah, and it definitely starts with effort. We drill and practice. We didn't have great practices leading up to the game yesterday. So just making sure that we're locking in practice so that translates to the game. But yeah, I think, with Kaylin out, we do have to focus on the fundamentals and find the open shots, find the easy shots. And it looks different without her out there. So trying to figure out what that looks like. That's what we've been focused on.
There been any reason that you felt that there haven't been as many 3 opportunities for the entire team? Is that something you guys would like to have more 3-point attempts in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things on the offensive side we want to get better at. Starts in transition. I think we didn't have many transition opportunities yesterday, so that opens up the 3 ball. Just a lot of things. We need to move the ball, get the ball inside. Aaliyah only having 5 shots, trying to change that too. So there's a lot of things. I think yesterday's game, yes, it's disappointing to lose, but I think we're able to learn a lot from it. And
how can you guys learn a lot from a game when you have not watched the game over? You have to watch film to learn from your mistakes. Guys, I'm starting to believe, it's my personal opinion, that Stephanie White is one of the most overrated coaches in the W. I am sorry. Get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this video, because if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a damn duck. And like always, man, shake the haters off. I'm out of here. Peace out. Shake